say something, I'm giving up on.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry.
Hello.
Yuck.
Welcome back to the Cool Comic Show.
Oh, I was going to say something crazy actually after that. That's good that you started.
I'm one of your hosts, Damien, and with me always is Galactic Mr. E, aka Mr. E, aka E, and Jelani Carter, aka Jelani Hendricks, aka what was the other name you had for him?
JJ Supreme.
Ice JJ Fish. We're joined by a special guest today.
There's only one person here that kind of looks like Ice JJ Fish, and
we have a very special guest.
Our special guest,
aka Big Daddy Dre, aka New York's finest. We are here to talk about Black Adam. Hopefully everyone has seen the movie at this point that's watching this video. Okay.
We were supposed to watch that movie?
Welcome to our blind review of Black Adam, where we're just going to figure out what the movie's going to be.
Shout out Kondak.
Oh my God. We're going to try something a little bit different than our previous movie reviews, reactions, whatever the case is. So we kind of have some steps laid out. But I know everyone with the YouTube channel recently, we kind of been jumping around. So currently right now, E and Jelani are watching Titans. We are going to be reacting to Doom Patrol when it comes out in December. We have a couple of My Cool books planned for you guys coming out soon, and some other books for the holidays and everything. So, but everyone who has watching the videos, thank you guys for supporting and all the love and all that cool stuff like that. But yes, we're here to talk about Black Adam. E? Spoilers. Spider-Man shows up, sipping on some wizard. Sipping. And sexy.
I believed everything. Like, you can show me magic, show me superpowers. A skinny Rock is crazy.
I was a body double for the skinny version of the Rock, so
Like a grilled cheese sandwich.
So yeah, we have a couple of topics here, but I wanted to ask real briefly, like 1 to 2 minutes per person, kind of like, what did you guys just think about the movie, just overall? Do you liked it, didn't like it? And then we'll get into the details of specifically. We can start with our special guest, Big Daddy Dre, and how you felt about it.
My audio, sorry. I probably have the worst review here, and that
This is good. We want different views.
I really didn't like it much at all. My favorite thing of the movie is one of the characters, Dr. Fate. I think he is the most interesting character of all of them, because he has the most potential to do things outside of this movie. And it seems like he has the most connection to all of the characters within the movie. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson does not do anything in this movie other than scowl, and that is a detriment to the character of Black Adam, because Black Adam is not interesting at all in this movie. And the other important character in this movie, Kondak, is also not important because nobody in the state is important, and Black Adam has no relationship to it that actually matters. So a lot of the things that would make this movie interesting and like propel it into the DCEU in some sort of interesting way is decimated by the fact that The Rock is stronger than everybody and Black Adam is strong. So I really did like the movie.
So did all three of you guys go watch it together when you were okay?
Okay.
When Black Adam gets depowered, I think E and Jelani both audibly said something. So to my right and my left, they were like, "No way!" I was like,
it was gross. I mean,
well, we could jump to you, Jelani. What did you?
yeah, I just didn't like that, because I didn't even like it how they did it to Chris Evans in Captain America, the first one. I was just like, I've seen this man so many times be brolic. Like, I don't believe you. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. You know what I mean? Like, it was a blockbuster movie. A lot of people that reviewed it or talked about it I've seen online were saying, like, if this movie came out like 5 to 7 years ago, it probably would have hit a little bit harder. But like, we have so much nuance and like depth to superhero like TV shows and movies now that like a basic ass just like this man's strong and he's fighting other strong people like plot is like so tired. Like it's like it came out a little too late. I mean, visually it was great. Like I think like the CGI was on point, and the shots that they like, the composition of everything, like it was filmed very beautifully. And like outside of like The Rock, because like The Rock was very one note, like everybody was good. I liked the characters, but like you knew like nothing really meant anything. Like you were just like, all right, cool, I'm seeing some of my favorite comic book characters on the screen for the first time and everybody's killing it. But at the same time it's just like, why you know what I mean? Just like, why, you know? Yeah, and like all the plot being like figured out through fight scenes was like whatever, you know what I mean? Like it looked cool, but like yeah, it just there wasn't a lot of depth to this movie. And like kind of like what Andre was saying, like they had an opportunity to do something interesting and they just chose not to. Maybe they just wanted to play it safe because they're like, hey, the state of the DCEU is in shambles, so let's just put out like a basic action movie, and that's what they did. And maybe if that was their goal, they accomplished it. But like, you know, fans want more, especially fans of like DC characters. We definitely want more.
Your thoughts?
You know, I kind of along the lines of what Jelani said. I didn't outright hate the movie, but it missed the mark on a lot of things. I feel like Dr. Fate definitely was a high point in the movie for me, which made me enjoy a lot of aspects of it because I love the visuals of this movie, and I think I love the visuals of the movie more than I actually like the movie itself. It was a very paint by the numbers kind of comic book movie, you know, except like the ending. I don't know. There were like 3 endings by the time the credits rolled. But yeah, I did enjoy, you know, when The Rock was not speaking in the beginning of the movie. The action scenes were pretty cool. I did like the fight scenes. I did not understand why Hawkman was trying to fight him every 5 minutes and just kept getting mollywopped.
The definition of insight.
But I don't know. Like I said, I think the visuals carried it for me and made it an overall enjoyable experience, where the plot was kind of lacking in a lot of places. Because we've been talking for 5 to 10 minutes now, and none of us have really even talked about the side characters that kind of drove the plot, the little boy and his mother, because they were very irrelevant. Like they were irrelevant to the whole story, but the movie was just trying to force you to care about these characters, and like I just didn't. So, like I said, the visuals, the fighting, I enjoyed the movie overall, but it left a lot to be desired.
I wish that kid tripped. At least just once. Like you're that nice on the skateboard the whole time. I don't believe you.
I think I would say I'm probably on the higher end of the movie. I definitely will say that it's not like, it ain't no hard-hitting plot. It's run-of-the-mill. You're going to get what you're going to get. But I think for me, because I went into it like knowing I'm not going to, like it's a Rock movie. I'm not going to get like some think piece like the Joker or whatever the case is. So I think all the things that you guys said that you liked, I think I was focusing on that, and that's why I enjoyed it. Like, I definitely don't think it's a movie that everyone, like, oh, it's going to change your life, nothing like that. Like you said, it's going to be an action movie. It's going to be a popcorn movie for a quick 2 hours, and you're kind of like, that's it. It's funny you mentioned those 2 characters because I don't know if you guys know, a lot of people probably will, but those 2 characters are actually very important to Black Adam, and like the mom and the kid, they're like very important, but in this movie they kind of just
exist.
This kid was just skating. That kid was skating the whole fucking movie. But I would say I enjoyed.
Like when he didn't even have to. Like there's a hallway scene that he's trying to like get past him, and he
cruising.
You could have just tiptoed. Like you would have had the same event. You did not have to hop on your skateboard again to go 2 feet.
You know,
but I don't know.
I think I enjoyed it for what it was. I think I went in because I mean all those reviews are coming out from the critics and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, it's gonna be a dumb action fun movie, and that's what I took it as. And I definitely enjoyed Dr. Fate. We can jump into like the free for all with the topics now, like open up to everybody. But talking about some of the characters, I guess we could start with Sabak. He was kind of just there. He was definitely there just to have a fight at the end, you know?
Yeah, And a little bit about Sabac's background for people who don't know. He was actually introduced as a Shazam villain in the comics. And as you saw in the movie, he gets his powers much like Shazam does by saying his name. He says Sabak, and then he's gifted the champion's powers of the underworld. The user of, the champion in the movie is, what is his name? Ishmael. Ishmael Gregor. He is a descendant of King Octon. I thought it was interesting. I looked that up after the movie, that the actor Marwan Kenzari actually played both roles. He played the king, and he also played Ishmael.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah, so I didn't realize it while watching the movie, but it makes sense. They do that a lot in Hollywood.
Yeah, there was like a small part of me that was like, did he also play like the old
king.
version of him, the king? But but the fact that he did, I mean, good villain.
Good. I mean, yeah, he was there for like 2 seconds, and then he got split in half, very literally. But I thought it was a long walk to get to that point. I feel like they could have put that earlier in the movie, and it would have been fine. Because
you know what they kind of did. Not to cut you off, they went the Batman v Superman route, where it's like Black Adam JSA fighting the whole time, and then the last 2 seconds Doomsday / Sabak comes in, and that's where they team up. That's what it felt like.
No, I remember like sitting there, that's like, wow, we still got some more movie, huh? I could sense that character was gonna come back, and I was like, oh, they're gonna add like an extra 20 to this when they don't really need to, dog.
Yeah, because you had to turn the crown.
Yeah, because life is the path of death.
Oh yeah, upside down. Yo, Dre. Okay, I feel like Dre wants to say something.
I have a couple of things at this point, but to address E's comment directly. What was the quote? Like, death is the only way to life, or something.
Yeah, life is the originally it was life is the only path to death. Yeah,
and that's written on the interior of the crown, and then all they fucking do. Sorry for the explanation. Is flip it over. I'm
Listen,
like,
we said it's a dumb movie. It's an action movie.
Have to be like they spent 15 minutes doing like some character building, and they're like, oh look. Bink. That was it. I was like,
Deus Ex Machina, let's go.
and one of the big things in this movie, and one of the big marketing points of this movie was like, Black Adam's an anti-hero and does what he wants and kills people, and other heroes don't. And throughout the whole movie, that's him and Hawkman's beef, right? He's like, oh, you're too strong. You got to control it. I'll do what I want. I'll kill people. And at the end of that movie, right before he rips dude in half, Hawkman, for some reason, is like, you gotta control it. As if that's the moment where you have to control your power.
Yeah,
you need to say
the devil was about to unleash hell on Earth. I'd have been like, nah, dog, rip him in half. What?
I think he was talking about controlling his lightning, so everyone else didn't get caught up in that.
That's what I figured.
But also Hawkman was really just like
system.
The whole movie, don't kill, and then. Like, in that scene, Rock says, you know what I have to do, and Hawkman's just like, do it. It's just like,
villains' lives don't mean anything, apparently.
Fair.
Speaking of... that dude already died, so it's fine.
This is also true because death is the only path to life.
Real quickly before you jump to the next one, I did see, like, because I saw people talking about it online. One thing someone pointed out is like, it's kind of crazy how in Black Adam there's a character who goes to a hell dimension and we're there for like 2 seconds, and we're like, there's a lot happening in that scene, and he comes back.
It happens so fast. They're like, you're in here now. You got to get back out. Go. He's like, okay, I'm out.
Go ahead.
But also, speaking of Ishmael, he was also the ruler of Intergang in the movie, who are basically the group in name only. This is apparently a group that comes directly from the comics. They actually possess technology from the gods of Apocalypse, and they're a Superman villain. But here they are just mercenaries that rule over Kahndaq, and they don't have new god weapons. They have Eternium.
For those of you that watch Young Justice, you've seen Intergang in Young Justice with Ugly, and I forgot the other girl. But that's what they are. But yeah, they were definitely just name only. It was not.
Yeah,
I mean, they had some cool tech, but yeah, the Eternium or whatever it was.
Unobtainium.
Vibranium.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to spend too much time on Intergang. They were just
Yeah.
there as like a.
I like the
beat 'em up.
bikes. It's cool.
Yeah, the bikes
Oh
were
yeah,
cool.
when that one dude was just teleporting, trying to get away. He just-
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's coming.
But just to. Yeah, Intergang was there, but I do want to jump to this next group of characters that you can
Yes.
go over because they're my favorite part of the movie, 100%.
I think this was everyone's favorite part of the movie. It was one of my only reasons of going to the movie, if I'm being quite honest. But
Same.
it is the JSA, or as they're known in the movie, just JS. So
Jessa.
in this iteration, we have Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone. Hawkman is the leader. Dr. Fate is just kind of, the
mentor.
veteran trying to keep everyone in line. Atom Smasher and Cyclone, this is their first mission on the job. What a first mission to have. I really enjoyed this aspect of the movie. But we're going to go ahead and see what our guest thought about the JS.
Yeah, let's see what Dre like.
Yeah.
That's the best part of the movie. Yeah, I think for a lot of reasons, they're a good part of the movie. Like, they open up the idea of the whole universe, right? And that, like, there are other things that are happening, which seems cool. Like, the relationships are pretty fleshed out amongst the JSA themselves, too. And we spend some pretty quality moments throughout the movie getting to know the JSA members in their little quirky ways. You've got, like, Dr. Fate and Hawkman having a moment. They're talking about, like, oh, you're gonna die at some point. Just let you know. But, like, you can see they have, like, a relationship too. And I guess there's insight into Hawkman because that's a thing that happens to him at some point in the comics or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Atom Smasher and what is her Cyclone. Thank you. They have a little moment. Although, like, Atom Smasher spending like half the movie trying to smash Cyclone, which is very cool.
He was
And
very
Egan.
tasty.
it was crazy. But even so, we get more insight into, like, the DC universe, whatever, if this is even part of the extended universe or just like general DC kind of
To
callbacks.
be honest, no one knows what's part of what anymore.
I don't think they even know.
They don't know.
But yeah, that was cool. And I think, and again, as I said earlier, I think Dr. Fate, obviously the parallels there, but like Dr. Fate presents himself in this movie as Doctor Strange does in the MCU, where like he's the thread, because it's unfortunate, but Dr. Fate has the most knowledge of everything in this movie. And so like all of the information that we don't get from Black Adam himself, because he doesn't say anything, like Dr. Fate knows. He understands what the crown is about. He understands the gods and understands the champion's relationship to them. So like Dr. Fate has a lot more information that the audience can retrieve from him, but we don't get the opportunity to, because he's got to do like the doomsday, like, well, someone's gonna die, we gotta figure it out and then do the thing. So so that's what I think as a character, and I think Pierce Brosnan kills it, but as a character, I think he has the most potential to like really open things up for the rest of even the rest of Black Adam too, or like the Black Adam Shazam relationship universe, that section of the DC universe.
Imagine Black Adam fighting Shazam.
I was gonna say, you think The Rock knows that he's supposed to fight Shazam at some point?
Bro, Superman popped up and I was like, what is this?
There's a lot.
It is so clearly like
There's a lot
this
that
is
this movie is trying to head towards.
this is the WWE. The Rock went back 20 years and said, you know what? We gotta muscle up to see who's better.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
JSA
Zachary
definitely.
Levi is not beating The Rock in real life, so no, I don't care.
In my heart, he is. Anyway,
I mean, facts. I love Chuck.
Jelani, what were your thoughts on the JSA?
I thought they were cool. I did like their relationship to each other. I think it did feel like a team, even though it was like a newly formed team. The dialogue between them and their relationship to each other, it definitely felt believable. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like corny or anything. Yeah, I mean, Atom Smasher and Cyclone were cool. I liked them. I really liked Cyclone's like designs and how her powers were portrayed. Even though it was a little strange, just like seeing the color of her blending with everything. Like I don't know, like I get it. Like she's like a twister, but at the same time, it's just like it just made no sense to me. But that's probably like the nanobots doing their thing.
Yeah.
And Atom Smasher was cool. I really liked all the like we're gonna talk in the car type
Oh,
of
yeah,
like
that's
dialogue
what-
between him and
Like
Hawkman.
me and you.
Yeah. Because like actually, I really wanted to see that. Like, I wish there was a scene that was just like, "Hey, man, you knocked me out like 3 times. You're not."
That would have been a good mid credits, and then Superman being the post credits. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
facts, but I definitely was not going to sit that long just to see Henry Cavill be like, "I'm back," which was cool because I like Henry Cavill and Superman is fine. You know what I mean? But like, would have hit harder if it was Zachary Levi that showed up. Yeah, but like
Yes.
would
knowing
have hit
Amanda
harder
Waller,
if they would have made Superman movies over the last 10 years and not just have him sit like he's
I mean,
dead. And
you know,
that's just
hey,
Anyways,
man.
continue. Sorry.
shout out to behind the scenes movie politics. You know what I mean? You know, but like, yeah, they were cool. They were cool. I really like Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate is cool. I am a fan of Zatanna, so like, you know, any
sir.
way of opening up the possibilities of Zatanna popping up or Constantine or any Justice League dark characters, I'm down for. But yeah, Pierce Brosnan like smashed that role, and Aldous Hodge was great as Hawkman. Even though I don't like Hawkman as a character because he's like whatever, I think he did a really good job at protecting him. Because I was like, it made me more of a fan of at least Aldous Hodge, not really Hawkman.
What were you gonna say, Dre?
I feel like this is more Aldous Hodge than Hawkman.
Oh,
Like,
1000%. That was
Yeah.
Aldous Hodge with wings. It wasn't Hawkman.
That was
Yeah.
the blackest iteration of Hawkman.
Bro,
we'll
okay,
see
because
for a while, dog.
because side note, I was watching a GQ interview with him, and I was like, oh, he didn't even switch up his accent or how he acted. Oh, that's him.
That's
They
him.
just put a suit on him and was like, yo, go do your thing. You got powers. He's like, I bet. Yo, what's good, son? You about to smash? You about to smash something? You got to fight?
yeah.
E, what did you think about JSA?
I thoroughly enjoyed them. Like I said, that was the main reason I went to go see the movie in the first place. I don't really care about Black Adam as a character.
Me neither.
Because he just seems, and I could be completely off base because I haven't read like deeply into his lore, but he just seems out of place in most of the things that I've seen him in. It's the Harley Quinn effect, you know. They don't really know what they want to do with the character, so they make them an anti-hero. So you know, sometimes they're with part of the Justice League, and other times they're trying to destroy people. So it's like I don't really know the character that well, but I am a big fan of Dr. Fate. I'm a big fan of magic-based heroes, so that was a big pull for me, and I'm so glad they did him well. That they pulled one of the moves straight out of Injustice 2. I was
That
like,
was sick.
oh, that was sick.
fucking- Throwing his setup.
You know? So I really had a good time watching the JSA. I was not familiar with Cyclone that much going into the movie, but her powers I think were the most visually stunning to me. And while Jelani, you said it, you didn't understand like why the colors like were whirled in. I ate that shit up. I thought it was just like stunning to see it.
I mean, it definitely
whirling
looked cool,
around.
for sure.
And there is, I don't know if this is why they did it, but there may be a reason as to why they worked that way, because it turns out that Cyclone, at least in the comics, is Red Tornado's granddaughter.
Oh, that's fire.
So
Okay,
that
cool.
may be why her colors were whirling around with her. I don't know. I did find it completely weird when they were having a little fireside chat, her and Adam Smasher, and then all of a sudden she was just like, oh yeah, when I was a teen I was kidnapped and had these
Yeah.
nanobots inserted into me. How are you doing today? Like
Where did trauma dump on the
See,
first
if we
date?
had a
That's
if we had a
crazy.
JSA movie, you know, if this would have been planned out properly.
you know, but I did like the nods to like their lives, you know.
Yeah.
We had like a brief nod to the whole reincarnation thing because he said, you know, Hawkman's like, I'm not afraid to die. You should have just
Yeah.
told me. Which hopefully we get to see Hawk Girl in the future. You know, Dr. Fate's been around the bush. I do wish, you know, Nabu would have spoken. I feel like he didn't in the movie,
Yep.
unless I'm not
He
remembering
did.
correctly.
I don't think so, no.
He talked through him, but it wasn't Nabu didn't specifically talk separately.
Okay, yeah. I wish we would have got some more of that, but I do feel like they didn't do that because people would have said,
It's a lot
"Oh,
already."
this is Jarvis, this is Iron Man."
Yeah.
So I feel like they probably scrapped that. And then I do like that we got to see the original Atom Smasher, who is apparently Henry Winkler in this universe.
Put him in anything.
He's Fonzie.
Nice little cameo.
But yeah, JSA, big part of why I enjoyed this movie. How about yourself, Damien?
So pretty much what you guys were saying. My favorite part, a little bit of insight. So when Cyclone pulls up to Hawkman's mansion, like it shows her, it said granddaughter and it showed Red Tornado's name. I forgot the name of it, but that's the same thing on there. Yeah, Naboo, he wasn't, I didn't expect him to make any kind of appearance. I was thinking maybe when when Kent died and he kind of faded away, he would have had that conversation with Naboo in the helmet, kind of how we've seen before, but that wasn't there. But they were definitely my favorite part of this movie. And I think honestly, from talking to other people who were leading up to the movie and after it came out, for a lot of them it was like, I'm going to go watch because of the JSA. And I know we were joking about like, oh, they would have made a Superman movie or they would have made a JSA movie, and I understand that the writers were kind of, they're limited to what this universe is. They can't, they kind of just have to throw in these backstories. But I was definitely there to watch the JSA, and honestly felt like, especially that first part, and them being contracted by the government, it's a whole other conversation. But that first part with them, like him being at his mansion, him getting on his jet, and it has the Hawkman symbol literally everywhere, like that felt like I was reading the comic book, because that's what it is with Hawkman. He just has his shit everywhere like that. But I definitely enjoy them. Cyclone, her powers are really cool. Atom Smasher, he was kind of just a big dude, but I definitely I like seeing Cyclone run around, and obviously Dr. Fate doing his shit. Same thing as E. Yeah, same thing as that. Like, I'm very much a fan of Justice League Dark and the Magic Users, and even if it would have been not even a throwaway line, but if Dr. Fate mentioned anything about working with Constantine or Zatanna or anybody, like just a conversation, that would have been more than enough for me. But
look at us,
JSA
excited over crumbs.
this is the last 10 years of me. That's all it's been.
Exactly.
But just in case,
a new Constantine too?
What's up?
Isn't there a new Constantine coming out? Isn't there plans for that? Or
it's a whole.
Okay, never mind.
It's
Dre, you'll have to join us
by name only, for real.
Dre, when we do our main show, you'll have to join us because there's a lot. That's
okay.
But real quick, in case anyone who didn't know who Naboo is or referencing, Naboo is the person or the soul or whatever you want to call it who is in possession of the helmet.
Yes.
There's a lot of different backstories, but he's usually with just this old Lord of Chaos, and now he is merged with the helmet. And anyone who
Lord of Order.
there's Lord of Order. Sorry, there's a couple of different iterations, but basically, usually how it goes is when someone puts on the helmet, Naboo is in control. And he doesn't give up the control. This was always a little bit different, but Naboo's kind of a head ass, low key. But
also, one part I majorly hated about the film is when Hawkman picks up Naboo's helmet and can just use his powers.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, you know what? At this point in the movie, fuck it. We're already an hour and 45
let's
minutes.
get out of here. Just do what you gotta do.
I guess he sensed that he was a friend of Kent, so he allowed him to do it, and Kent just died. You know what I mean? Deus Ex Machina.
You can't just say Deus Ex Machina to everything.
But it's kind of the movie.
But I think there's one more character you wanted to mention, kind of in this section E. You want to?
Oh yeah, we got to see Emilia Harcourt, who is a character from Suicide Squad. And also Peacemaker.
Everyone's favorite TV show.
Yeah.
That we definitely all watched.
TV show Peacemaker, yes. But
I've only seen 3 episodes of that show.
What's that?
The theme song. Right?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Johnny, keep going.
Do the dance.
But she is in the scene where Black Adam is imprisoned in the Task Force X Black site. So apparently she's all healed up from her injuries in Peacemaker. She's the one that
spoiler, I haven't seen it yet.
I'm so sorry. You should watch it. It's very good.
Should I though?
It is pretty good, honestly.
They say the gods created us, but we're the ones who always wind up burying them. That line is delivered by that character. It's a nice little...
Dre, Dre, as a person who wasn't a big fan of this movie, did her showing up do anything for you?
Oh, I didn't know who she was, but I just
Exactly.
assumed she worked.
Exactly.
I assumed she just
Yeah,
worked
just assumed she
with
worked, yeah.
Amanda Waller's character.
Also, she really
yeah.
thought she said something when she said that too, and I was like,
Yeah.
whack.
I think
So whack.
You're like, who was that for?
yeah, and we can kind of open this up just so anyone can jump in. But a fun fact, I don't know if it's a fun fact, but that actress, she's married to James Gunn, who is now the CEO of DC Studios.
Fire.
But I think this goes into a conversation that E and I have been having since the beginning of this channel, and now Jelania here, joining the channel, and then Dre is our guest. I think this leads to a bigger issue of the DC movies as a whole. This isn't necessarily a problem specifically with this movie, but this character showing up, like, it was weird. I saw some clips of people cheering for her, and some people being like, who? It's one of those things that in this movie they try to set it up as like, oh, this cameo or this character, but it's like, it goes back to an issue they've had for the last 10 years where it's like they're trying to have the payoff with characters showing up without a lot of the buildup, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it was cool seeing Amanda Waller, but
Yeah.
then, and yeah, it was cool seeing Superman, but there's like no buildup to it, you know? And it's like, it's just an issue they've had with the whole universe, really.
I think the Amanda Waller thing made sense in the movie, but it didn't make sense at the end of, at the post credit
Post-credits,
scene.
yeah.
Because we don't know that relationship, and
Exactly.
it's only used to bring Henry Cavill back into the fold. So like, it's whatever. Yeah, it feels more just like them stuffing, rather than like, we've worked for this for so long and now we're here. So
Yeah.
It's just, and this could jump to, this was we're going to go into the ending like Dre just mentioned. So at the end, there's he just, like E mentioned at the beginning, he destroys the throne. He says he's going to be a protector like he does in the comics. He does have that one shot where he's like posed in the throne, which is like from this cover of the comics, so that's pretty cool. But
So obvious too. That was so
yeah,
obvious.
he was like, let me put my
Good
hand
Lord.
up, and
Yeah. They held
Just
that
like,
for so long.
Like stupid long, and I'm like, I get it. Like I haven't read any of the Black Adam comics, but I know that cover, and I'm like,
Yeah.
cute, I guess.
It's like,
Waller sends in a drone. She forbids him from leaving. Adam says no one can stop him on this planet. She says she has people not from this planet. Superman appears. It does play the original Superman theme. As much as I like that theme, I think the Man of Steel theme just hits. It's just really good. But the original one shows up. Shout out to E here for making some of these notes. This kind of does resemble the end of Man of Steel, where Superman takes out that drone and it's like $100 million. And I'm like, hey, Superman, maybe, let's not. But anyways. Then he has that speech where he's like, Black Adam tells him, like, unlike you, I'm not a clear hero, kind of thing. So people were excited. People were definitely cheering in my theater. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a payoff with a lot of buildup. It was just, we haven't seen Superman in 6 years? I mean, there was the Snyder Cut, but Superman hasn't been in a full movie in like 6 years, so it's like,
Man of Steel came out literally almost a decade ago in 2013.
That's insane.
isn't it crazy how we have a show about Peacemaker before we got Man of Steel 2?
Isn't it
Like,
crazy
isn't that just
we have a show about Batman's car before we have a second Man of Steel movie? Yeah, shout out to Batwheels, really doing groundbreaking work for the superhero community.
it's just, it's, I
What's
keep going
on
back to
over
it.
there?
I keep going back to it, but this is an issue with the studio. I mean, there was news that came out, obviously, that James Gunn and the other producer are now like the heads of DC Studios. We'll see how that goes. But this last 10 years, it kind of related. The Shazam director came out recently, and he was like, I haven't had any conversations with The Rock about Shazam and Black Adam meeting up. And it's like if you're making Joker movies and Batman movies, like, they're not going to meet up.
Yeah, and that's crazy because, like, literally the big bad guy in this movie was also a Shazam villain.
Shazam.
Black Adam started off as a Shazam villain, and like Superman
He's
is
the
showing
Shazam
up.
villain. Like, Black Adam is the Shazam villain. And then, like,
Yeah,
It's just The Rock just really wanted to be into a superhero film and punch things. Like I don't think he really cared too much about the character or whatever. I mean, obviously he cared because he's been fighting for this for like 10 years.
It's been like 15 years, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like, like I don't think they were really thinking. I think they were just like, yo, we got hella money.
but
We
like
got all the VFX artists, let's just do this shit, and then like that's what happened. You know what I
They
mean?
had
And this
to
is
be
what we got.
thinking about Shazam though, because they had
They had
Jamon.
15 years to
They,
The Wizard.
They had Jamon Hansel, and probably just butchered that name, so excuse me. But they had him reprise his role as the Wizard. He shows
Wizard,
up in
yeah.
Shazam, and now he shows up again in Black Adam. So they have to be thinking about these movies should be interconnected.
Yeah.
But we don't. We get all this throughout the movie. We get all these random ass alliterations to Black Adam fighting Superman. Like they're in the kid's bedroom just breaking shit, and he punches a hole through Superman's face in the poster, and Superman showing up. Where is Shazam, dog? like,
Hey, you got the Shazam trailer before the movie. You know that's.
and then it got pushed to the following year. You know, like, what's going on, man?
So as we go to the end of this, Dre, I want to know, does it? I know you said you didn't like this movie at all. In terms of things that happened in this movie and how it ended, does this push anything for you in terms of the future of like, okay, well, I want to see Black Adam show up in this, or I want to see Superman, or I want to see Shazam? Like, in terms of the future of the DC movies, does it do anything for you, or things you want to look forward to in there?
Well, I haven't watched most of the DCEU films just because I've heard they've notoriously been mid.
I mean, there's been good ones
I was-
recently, but yeah.
As an average, they've been.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right. I also feel like there's no great effort, as you guys have noted, to create some sort of lived-in space, and I feel like Black Adam does that with some of the characters, like seeing the Wizard from Shazam. I've only seen like the first 30 minutes of Shazam, maybe, and I saw him, and I was like, oh, cool, it's that guy, right? So I know
Pretty fun movie.
these things are related.
Yeah, it is.
It seemed like it. And that's what I've heard too. Knowing Amanda Waller's there, I've seen Suicide Squad. I was like, okay, cool, right? I know, like I understand they all live in the same universe now. Seeing the other character there, I was like, okay, cool. I understand they're working toward thing, but the way they do it is in the very small, inconsequential ways where you're like, oh, this person's here, haha, as opposed to like, wow, these people have a relationship, and it forces them to be in each other's spaces, right? So, and even the surprises, like if it's just to get a one-liner off, you might as well go away, right? Like in Falcon and Winter Soldier, like having War Machine pop up, unexpected, but it makes sense because like everybody's working for the government, and everybody's got a relationship to the law, and they have to figure that out, right? So that makes sense. I don't know what they're gonna do with Superman, and it doesn't like
No one does.
I don't think. Yeah,
They don't
no
either.
one does. And I think when we walked
Why
out
is
the
he
theater,
working
I said,
for
I
law?
Exactly. That's a whole other conversation.
and from the little I know that doesn't make
Like a
sense.
quick sidebar. People think it's hard to make a Superman movie. It is not. It's very easy to make one. You just have to understand the character. He's supposed to be a Boy Scout. He's supposed to be like people think, oh, he's too boring. He's too powerful. He's not. Like
No,
you
there's
can
lot
make a
of nuance
Superman
there.
movie, a fun, like lively one. It's a whole conversation. But yeah, continue.
I think when we walked out the theater, and you guys obviously know a little bit more on the DC side of things, but you guys said like I said we need some sort of reality shifting event, which you guys have mentioned would be Flashpoint, but that's also in the fray because of etc. But
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Flashpoint is the
if,
first Flash movie is a mess. But go ahead.
Big, etc.
like if like Doomsday can come in and just blow up everybody, and then just like they force a world shifting thing by like killing Superman and then bringing him back and then going on with like 2 other movies, cool, because there's like a lot of interesting things that happen with this movie, and I think that's why I got so mad at it too. Is that again there's a lot of threads that connect to the DCU and like would suggest different crossovers or team ups and things, but for the sake of this movie, they're all just for the purpose of like a very bland morality battle that is not that interesting because Black Adam's not that interesting. So this movie does itself a disservice by not making Kahndaq an interesting place, because like the way that Gotham and Metropolis are like cities unto themselves, Kahndaq is just a setting for this guy to come back to life. There is no relationship, there's no struggle that we really care about, which is why the 2 characters who like articulate the struggle in a way just feel like kind of chess pieces, like they're moral chess pieces for Black Adam to ignore ultimately by the end of the movie, or like barely consider.
I mean, they do tell him, like, they're supporting of him killing people too. They're like, hey, go kill people.
Yo, like the whole city's like, yo, you're our protector, and he's like, I'll kill all of you. And they're like, yo, keep going. It's like the dissonance there is so dumb.
I mean, I kind of get it, because if you're like living in a slave state, and you're like, yo, do what you gotta do in order to get rid of our oppressors, but you know.
Understandable, but also that guy's also very capable of killing you if you get on his bad foot.
I mean,
for
that
fun.
too. Yeah, but like
for fun,
his little best friend can skateboard, so he won't do it. You know what I mean?
Hit a kickflip.
Yeah, I was about to say
check this out.
kickflip, everything will be okay. Does bust through doors, even though he knows what doors are.
Yeah.
So
what was that?
Who knows?
Do they not have doors? Yes, I know what a door. It allows you to enter places.
Yeah.
Bro, the joke got old the first time, and then he kept doing it. I'm like, come on, man, this dude knows how to use the door.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
yeah,
I
that's
barely
also
had an apartment left. I'd like, yo, who's gonna pay for that, dog?
that's true too. The other thing, this is just me dumping, but with a character like that, like I like Captain America. Of course, I'm gonna make these parallels between the MCU and DCU. Some of them are obvious, some of them not. But like Captain America has to like adjust to modern living. Black Adam does not. He's too strong to even consider being like, what's a door, or like, what's a cell phone. He's just like,
Was anyone else confused when he just learned English?
Yeah.
Yes, immediately.
Yes.
I assumed we were gonna get a moment.
He learned the concept of sarcasm before learning the concept of opening a door. Like what?
I assumed we were gonna get a moment. I assumed we were gonna get a moment of him like learning English, or being like he could just absorb it, whatever they were gonna explain. But they're just like, nah, fuck, he knows.
Yeah, like I get that he's magic, but come on.
It's a
dog.
small dumb thing. It doesn't make any.
There
It's
was
just
like
like
one
I wish he at least
throwaway
just,
line. There was
like,
one
spoke his native
throwaway
tongue or
line
something.
where he was like, they were like looking out of the window, and he was like, does any of this look familiar to you? And he's like, no, this isn't my conduct. And that was the end of it.
that literally kills half the purpose of the movie right there.
Yeah.
Like, what? Go away, fly away into space, and then blow something up.
I mean,
He has no purpose.
him learning English is definitely the bottom of like the issues with this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted like a little, just like him speaking Kondak-ese at first, and then switching to English. Just like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a little something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He did in the beginning when he first woke up, but then the next scene he's speaking English. So that was what like
Did
a
he? Oh, I
jump.
don't remember that.
It was like 2 seconds in it.
But to answer your question, Damien, ultimately, no, I'm not gonna like hold my breath to go see any of the other DCEU movies following this, because it doesn't matter. Like, all of this is inconsequential, and the character is so isolated that like they'll only bring him in as like a major like Deus Ex Machina because they need a really strong person.
Superman
or
too.
They need a really strong villain, and he just happens to be the strongest one who can make it interesting to a degree. So
Jelani.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. Like, I'm gonna watch these films because my brain is broken and I like comic book movies, so I want to see the DCEU succeed at some point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they got it all there. It's not like they don't know how. I mean, we talked about this when we left the movie, but like all the and even like earlier today, Damien, like all the DC animated films are fantastic. They figured out how to do a extinction level event when they had to reset. Like, did it like 3 times already. You know what I mean? Yep. So like, it's not like they don't know what to do, or they don't have a team of people actively doing the thing that fans want in live action. They just like, I guess I don't want to say they're choosing not to. I understand there's a whole bunch of extra stuff going on behind the scenes that affects what we see on screen in both Marvel and in DC. But at the same time, it's just like, dog, like you had like 15 years to figure something out. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just whatever. I mean, and also to like Dre's point, I think it seems like all these different movies and characters being isolated is probably something that they're doing on purpose, so they don't have to find a way to like connect them all, because everything is so messy right now. So that might be their choice anyway, or strong possibility they don't know what the hell they're doing, so that's why. But I would like to give them a little more credit than that. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the next proper Shazam movie because I like the first one. So like, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see The Rock come back up. Not really. Like, if he doesn't, like, that's fine. But like, also like, that's just a year out. You know what I mean? Like that's not even enough time for some real build up. It's just like, oh yeah, we knew this was gonna happen because like we all know that he has to interact with Shazam at some point.
I mean, according to The Rock, he doesn't have to.
Which means, what do you mean,
And like,
dog?
to both of your points, I feel like at this point it's just they don't know what they're doing because like when you think of the movie as a whole, you think it can stand alone, but they have so many like flashes to other parts of the DC, like the DC universe, that you wanted.
Oh, I get it, because Quicksilver.
Yeah, because Quicksilver's in here. So like they have so many nods to specific movies, specific TV shows within the universe. It's like they are begging you to know that it is connected, but they also just kind of don't want to say it's connected outright, just in case something happens. But
just
it's like
in case
you
Ezra
either
Miller punches another person in a bar.
like you either gotta be all in or all out at this point, and like I think we're past the point of just like being half-assed, and like I feel like a lot of their movies, because they didn't have a full direction, have had this half-assed connected universe. So like I said, hopefully with James Gunn and the other creative director getting in there, hopefully the movies that come out down the line will be a little more cohesive. But as of right now, and this movie in particular, I just feel like they're just throwing information at you basically, and like hoping that you smile over crumbs.
Yep. I'll keep my thoughts short because I know we're running a little bit short on time, but I agree with everything you guys are saying. I think with this movie, it's not some hard-hitting think piece. It's going to be people punching people flying, people spinning. I think overall, I enjoy the action part of it. I don't think it's gonna, like, I'm not clamoring to go watch it again. When I do watch again, it'll be for the JSA again mainly. But in terms of the future of the DC universe, again, with this James Gunn stuff, hopefully it makes things more cohesive and all that stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing is, like, exactly like you said, E, and we've talked about this before. Specifically the last 5 years, there's been a lot of half in, half out. They don't want to commit, but sometimes they want to commit. They want to give you crumbs. In fucking the first Shazam movie, we got a cameo of Superman from the neck down. You know, it's like they can't figure out
Even
those
in the
small
trailer
things.
for the second movie, we got Aquaman, we got was it Superman or Batman? That was
Batman.
in the trailer. Batman in
Yeah,
the trailer, and then we got the Flash's back. So
It's like, and so I think with this movie and the future, I hope we get a JSA spinoff or something. I would like to see a JSA project. I think a lot of people want to see that. I think Black Adam, as I understand why it was a solo movie, because it's The Rock and he was the one. This movie wouldn't have got made without him, but I think Black Adam should have remained a piece that would have been in a Shazam movie. I don't know. We needed a whole movie for Black Adam. I think a lot of this could have been condensed, and then maybe he could have got his movie after the fact. And especially, like I mentioned, those two characters, the mom and the son, they are very important in the comics, but this was kind of just like he's on a skateboard and she's running around. My main point, last point for the DC universe, and some people may think I'm crazy, there's been a lot of talk, obviously, that they should do a Flashpoint movie to reset all of this. The issue with that is Flashpoint had 70 years of build-up to the whole point. The whole reason for Flashpoint is how different it is from what we know. And I think what they should do is a Crisis movie. Crisis, for a lot of people, was the first starting point of DC, which happened in the 80s. A lot of people consider the era between the 80s and Flashpoint, so Crisis and Flashpoint, people consider that the best era of DC Comics.
Yeah.
There's all these crazy universes, multiverses. We have Titans, we have Doom Patrol, we have these movies. We have the Joker movie that's doing its own thing, and the musical with Harley. It's like, if they do a Crisis movie, that could be a perfect way to reset everything and actually do a starting point where some of the best stories that came out of DC came after Crisis. Like, it's I know people want to build up to Crisis, but you don't need to build up, because before Crisis, it's not really the best. I mean, there's some good stuff back there, but do a Crisis movie, give us all the connected stuff, and then maybe 20 years from now we get a Flashpoint movie, and that'll make sense then. But
Yeah.
I'm still gonna watch them because I'm a slut for DC and they have me by the balls. But it was fun, but it could have been more. You know,
Yeah.
I liked it.
I definitely agree.
Well, that was Black Adam. Dre, thank you so much for joining us. Where can the people find you on the internet?
If you want to find me on Twitch, you can find me on twitch.tv/Neveradought. That's Neveradought. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's No Doubt. That's NODOUGHT. I'm on Twitter at Neveradought as well. That's really it right now.
Well, you guys can find E and Jelani watching Titans every week. I know it's their favorite show right now, 100%, and nothing else is going on.
It's kind of
but
lit, not gonna lie.
Actually, I told you I might have to watch this season from what I've seen. So
yeah.
like I said, we'll be doing Doom Patrol in December. Make sure you guys go follow Dre, check it out. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like the video and subscribe. And we'll see you in our next movie review. What's coming out next? Black Panther. I'm watching it next week, so
Nice.
I'll be checking that out. We'll see you guys next time.
Okay, bye.
Okay, man.